through the program, they didn't have Paisel that it is now. So those of you, if you went through the Paisel, God bless you. I know it's a different world. So it's exactly, so that's where, so Rhonda's like, y'all have no idea the things that we have to do. But then also, I know. And one of the biggest things is the internship hours and the log that's there. So each semester they've done 100 hours of internship. So Mr. Martinez, thank you so much for allowing Rhonda the opportunity to do that, because there's no way through the program that we could do this without the support that you give here on the campus, that the district does as well in providing this opportunity for Ms. Suko. And then of course the showcase, which is what it is today. You know, so I'll ask this, Dr. Garcia, did I miss anything else? This is also Dr. Garcia. She also co-teaches with us, and we do the field site supervising with all of our students there. So I am Rick Garcia, and this is Dr. Garcia. And yes, we do live in the same house. So that is one of those things that are there. So with that, you didn't come to listen to me, but I wanted to give you a little bit of what the background is so that you can see the work that she's done over the past 2 years to bring her to the culmination of what she's going to talk to us about today. So I'm going to let Rhonda talk to you from here.
Thank you. My name is Rhonda Suko. I want to thank all of you for being here today. I know that your time is very precious, and so I'm really honored and humbled that you found time in your schedule to be here to support my journey. I'm actually a second career teacher. The way I got into education is our youngest child, we found out that he was having developmental delays, and those delays became more of an issue when he got into education. So at that point, I started researching evidence-based practices and neuroplasticity, and actually found a program that would allow teachers to go, parents to go and take their training and to purchase their resources. And so I did that for him, and that kind of is what got me into education. Started doing that for other students. One I saw just the other day, he is graduating. He was going to be retained in first grade. I helped get him caught up over the summer. He started second grade with his peers. He is graduating high school and has been accepted to Texas State University. So it's huge. So long story, but I now have arrived at Elgin Intermediate, and I'm so happy to be here, and I'm so happy to be in this district. So as Dr. Garcia said, we've done a lot of equity audits. This is just a quick snapshot of student demographics over the last 3 years. So we haven't seen a lot of changes. Oh, what did I do? Okay, I'm going to step away. We haven't seen a lot of changes with our ethnic, the ethnic population. The percentages haven't changed. What has changed, though, is the number of students that we have. So we've grown over 200 students. We've grown over 200 students in the last 2 years, and that number continues to grow. Dr. Garcia talked a little bit about the Paisel. So this is, I wish there was a way to go back. I don't know how to do that. And my computer is not.
There you are, you're going back.
Okay, so it's right, use the
Oh, no, it's going forward.
Does it swipe?
Oh, I swiped it and it'll keep going forward. So.
An arrow to go back.
Yep, it'll keep going forward.
These are new to us.
Are they?
Okay.
Yes, so these are, we've only had them about a week
Oh
or
my
a week and
goodness.
a half maybe. Yeah.
Oh,
So we're still trying to figure out
that's
the
going wrong.
screens as well, being touchscreen and
Is it going wrong?
everything.
Yes.
So yeah, it's a new.
Yep, it's
Teacher
going
toy.
away.
But I thought there was.
So I think what Ms. Suko brings up is a great point about our data, like our
There we
demographics
go.
haven't changed,
So you want to start?
except the amount of students has changed.
Exactly.
So that's been obviously a growth opportunity for us as a campus.
Okay, there we go. All right. So going back to the student demographics, these two pie charts show the difference between the student demographics and our teacher demographics, which those actually, over the years, those numbers are starting to align a little bit more than what they had. So Dr. Garcia talked a little bit about the Paisel. This chart shows everything that the campus and the district is doing to support our students. So there's a lot. The part in red and yellow is what I did for my Paisel. So in looking at the equity audit, which is here, So this was from 2003, this is from 2004, this is 6th grade math only. The areas in red and yellow are some areas of concern. But if you look from 2003 to 2004, some of those areas actually cleared up. So we're making progress in the right direction. And really here, this is really cool. So that's only 51% of special education students pass, and that's only 11 percentage points below the average. So that's pretty cool. So let's go back up here. So in looking at the equity audit and talking to the stakeholders, we didn't, and comparing that to our campus goal of 71% of our students will show growth on the STAR test, we didn't necessarily feel that focusing on one of those subpopulations was really going to support the campus goal the way we wanted it to. So what we determined with working with the teachers, we noticed that students were still using skip counting and diagramming for multiplication and division problems. And so that was a problem that we wanted to address. So the PLC kind of worked together. I really wanted to do time multiplication assessments and really practice that and get that solid. The PLC kind of decided, you know what, let's use multiplication tables. And so then I taught students how to fill those out rapidly so that they could then use them on assessments and on the STAR test, because to have a resource in class then to not be able to use it on a test is really kind of useless. So we kind of all worked together, multiple means of division. We worked together to come up with strategies that would help students be successful. So now I'm going to go into the case study of my mentee teacher. This teacher is a first-year teacher. He is an alternative certification. One of the opportunities with this teacher was that he had 4 different mentors. So he had one from Region 13, and then he had 3 on our campus. So one of our challenges or concerns, was that we were afraid of overwhelming him with too many voices, too many suggestions. So we really had to work collaboratively with each other. We went in and we would observe his class, but then afterwards we would collaborate together to decide, okay, what is the most important thing for this teacher to work on at this point? And then one of us would go and talk to him and help him so that we weren't all just bombarding and overwhelming a brand new teacher. So the first quarter, he really just needed a lot of classroom management procedures, timers, processes and procedures, positive reinforcements. Second quarter, we worked on small group instruction and our word problem UPS check method in that small group instruction, and that'll actually tie into our student study. And then this quarter, we're working on randomizers, kind of refining that explicit instruction, and also work on scaffolding. And then we want to kind of work, the PLC is talking about going into engagement strategies for next quarter. So let me show you his data over the course of the year. So this is on level only. So this does not include his AP students. So these graphs would go up a lot higher. But you can see that he has a nice trend up until this was right after Christmas. But then he's kind of recovering. So he's really making a lot of progress and showing a lot of growth already. So let me go into the case study of my student. Here we go. All right. So this is an EB student. Last year he was in 5th grade and received instruction in both English and Spanish. This year he's only receiving instruction in English. So like all the other students, he got those time multiplication, the multiplication strategies, the IXL intervention that all the other students got, but we wanted to really focus on word problems in the small group instruction and making sure that he really understood the vocabulary and that he understood that, okay, this word, what words go with which processes so that he could be successful. So anyway, this quarter we're working on IXL, Lohman, multiplication, and division games. But let me show you his data this year compared to last year. So the blue line is last year, and this year is the orange line. You can see when we started working with him on the UPS check strategies, you can see that really helped his success. Some of these data points are in meets and masters, and this is for a student who had not passed the STAR test last year. So that's pretty exciting. All right. And then the PLC, you'll see, I know I sound very repetitive, but it all aligns, right? So worked on numeracy, worked on small group instruction. So randomizer, spiral review, and data conferences are some things that we're really working on in our PLC, as well as scaffolding instruction. That's something that kind of came up organically from other teachers coming to me saying, how do I teach this? I'm like, okay, well, let me show you some strategies for that. So let me show you the overall PLC data. So again, as you can see, we see a nice trend up. Again, that same little dip down right after Christmas, but then a rebound. Again, this does not include AP students, so those numbers would go even higher. So I think things are looking really good and really positive. I'm very hopeful. Some other things that Mr. Martinez has allowed me to work on. So next year we will be a 6th grade only campus. And so he gave me the opportunity to kind of map out what the classroom assignments might be and what traffic flow patterns would look like. And so I kind of did that here. He's allowed me to come up with ideas for processes and procedures for arrival, dismissal, passing periods, and even Tier 1 discipline matrix. But the thing that I think I've enjoyed the most, though, is the organic, unofficial instructional coaching that I've been able to do when teachers come to me and just say, hey, what do? I have this behavior issue, or how do I teach this? The kids are looking, there's all these numbers, how do I handle that? And so walking them through that, I think for me has been the most rewarding. So some overall takeaways from this year. I mentioned to Dr. Garcia, I love it when what I'm learning in one place aligns with what I'm learning in the other place, and that I don't have to sit there and say, okay, well, that's not what my principal said, or that's not what my professor said. You guys are already in alignment and haven't even been working together, so that's pretty nice for me. But one of the things I really enjoyed was the collaboration and amongst not just the campus, but in the district. That only happens when there's trust and respect. So just last week, Tammy was in here, and our grade level was struggling with a standard that students had actually done really well on the unit assessment, but then when it was retested, they didn't do so well. And we were like, okay, how do we handle this? And Tammy came over and talked, and one of our first year teachers spoke up, and Tammy and this first year teacher, both of their voices had the same weight. And that was one of the most beautiful educational moments, and that'll stay with me for forever. This was a huge aha moment. So my background is in intervention. I've always done intervention, but I've always thought that, okay, you have to have your plan set out in place at the beginning of the year. You have to have all your resources. You have to have all the training, roll it out, and push forward and track data for the year. One of the things I've learned at Tech and through Elgin is that we can do this quarterly. We don't have to do everything all at once. We can roll things out gradually. We can check the data. We can make adjustments as we are making assessments. And so that's something that I really enjoyed. And then the final thing that I've, again, learned in both places is this consistency in providing ongoing coaching, support, and reflective practices. So as Mr. Martinez comes in, gives us feedback, then we can respond, we can make those changes, and then, week or two later, he'll come back in and he'll give you more feedback. That's exactly the model I've been taught at Tech, and I really appreciate it. I think that really has the greatest impact on the campus, the teacher, and student outcomes. So anyway. I'm very serious. So do y'all have any questions for me?
Oh, we can't make it that simple for you. I know that you kind of mentioned a little bit about the professional opportunities and growth, but then if you had to say, you know what, this is one of the really, and I know you talked about 3 different things, that climate of trust and climate of trust and respect, and then the data stuff. But if you said, you know what, the one biggest thing, this is my biggest, thing that I've really learned this year from the beginning to now, what do you think that would be?
I would have to say patience. And that really kind of goes along with that quarterly intervention and just being patient. When in my previous career, I was so gung-ho, and I would come up with this an idea, and we're going to do it, and I would get 5 or 6 people on board, and we would steamroll it, and that causes a lot of turbulence, So I think that through this process, I've learned, gentle and methodical, and having the data and looking at things and not just being kind of a bulldozer, I think is probably my biggest growth.
What is, when, you know, as a teacher, and then looking through the lens of an administrator, what is the one thing that really was like an aha moment, coming from, looking from a teacher versus an administrator? Because, you know, your scope widens each time, and so as an administrator, what did you see, did you learn from Mr. Martinez that you thought, wow, I didn't really know that as a teacher?
Well, something I knew but didn't really internalize, and this has really been coming up lately, but when your principal walks into your room and gives you feedback, it is not a gotcha. It is, I am trying to help you be better. I'm trying to help us be better. And I knew that, but I didn't really feel it. So anytime in the past when I would get that feedback, I'd just cringe and be like, oh, I didn't do something wrong. Yeah. And now it's like, oh, thank you. Thank you for helping me get better. And so other teachers will be like, oh man, like, no. You know, this is really, he's doing his job. This is what you want. You want him to, because you don't want to be a tenured teacher and never have had your principal come in and give you guidance, because you will have stagnated. So I think for me, that is probably. So.
Anybody else have any other questions?
Were you able to sit in on other subject PLCs like RLA or?
I have not.
Okay, so you haven't been able to see like and be able to compare from the math to the.
I have not.
Okay.
So mostly because of scheduling and
Oh
coverage
yeah, I
issues,
trust.
but,
We
She has
have no,
more hours that she can get.
we
for
have no
sure.
time
Thank you,
during our
Dr.
day.
Garcia.
Yeah, no, I just didn't know if that was a part of your research project here.
Right.
Was is
I tried to
Seeing the
keep
other-
things as simple as possible.
I don't blame
so
you.
I kind of aligned. But actually that would probably be, that's a good suggestion to be able to see things. I actually come from an ELAR background. So I've sat in a lot of ELAR
right.
PLCs.
I just was wanting to see like what takeaways, like what things could
Yeah.
you take from this PLC and implement in this PLC to make them so that all of our subject PLCs are on the same page.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right. Yeah, that's great.
And like you said, taking that step of valuing the first year teacher
Mhm.
just as much as you do a veteran teacher, and implying that into all the PLCs across the board.
Right. No, I love that. Thank you for that suggestion. I will make that happen.
I'm going to kind of come up here and no, stay up here with me.
Oh,
You're not going to go
okay.
anywhere else. But I just want to say, I'm going to kind of take her off the hook a little bit. But did she do a great job? I thought she, with all the research and everything that was there, I didn't know if anybody
Fantastic.
and we have Dr. Munoz and Dr. Almaguer and Dr. Valle that have joined us as well, from professors over there. I didn't know if they, but again, I want to say thank you to them because they initiated this program and started this going and really a lot of things that are there. But really, thank you for the work and the support for allowing her to do the things that she's done. But you saw from the data as well, the teacher's grown, the student has grown, and this is from intentional practices. So, Mr. Martinez, thank you so much for all the support that's there. And if there's nothing else, then we can say, hey.
Can I introduce Dr. Almanger?
Yes.
So I've not met you in person, but I've read your book. She wrote a book called Maribel's First Day, and it's very short, but it really gives you an insight into our emergent bilingual students and their first experiences on our campuses. And so for me, it was very powerful. So thank you for that.
Yeah, well, so with that, gosh almighty, congratulations for
Thank
getting to this
you.
place right here. We're proud of her. And professors, thank you so much. And they're all giving you a thumbs up and all this other kind of good stuff. So with that, we're going to end the Zoom session and say, hey guys, thank you. And we can come up and just whatever it is there. Thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate
Thank
that.
you.
And I
I
think
really
it's a culmination of everything that's there. Thank you, Jim.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Good job, both of you. Thank you, Dr. Garcia. Good job.
That way you can see everybody that's here.
There you go.
Hey, great job. Thank you. I appreciate you.